What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Opinionated-Off Topic. Today I'm with my co-host, Carlos Mojica. We're with Julian. Thank you for stopping by and pulling up on us, as always. Gratefully appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, dude. I'm hyped.
Of course, thank you for coming on, as always. So we're going to jump right into it. Tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, where the journey began for young Julian.
Yeah.
So where you're at today.
So I was born in Greensboro, North Carolina. Not many people know that. Moved to San Antonio when I was a baby. So I pretty much spent my whole life in San Antonio up until college. Went to Texas State, San Marcos, graduated just last year. Got a bachelor's degree in electronic media.
Okay.
And fresh out of college, I moved to Austin. So that's where I've been the past 9 months. So, yeah, I've been in Texas pretty much my whole life.
How long were you in Greensboro?
I don't even know. We probably moved to Texas when I was like 2.
Oh, so you even know it like that?
No, I've only been back like once, and it was in Charlotte. So I've never been back to where I was
One
born.
of my homies is in, I think he's in Greensboro right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's cool, because I don't know a lot of people who even know what Greensboro is.
Yeah. The only reason I know it is because one of the guys that I used to play baseball with played on the minor league team there.
Oh,
the
yeah,
Hops, the Greensboro
Yeah.
Hops. Yeah,
Facts,
he was on there.
Yeah, that's tight.
So you moved to San Antonio after you came when you came to Texas?
Yeah, because the rest of my family is from San Antonio. They're over there. My grandma lives out there. So my parents were living there for a while, and, I popped up, and, they had to come back home. So pretty much all my family's in San Antonio. I only have a few family members back in Carolina. So, yeah.
What part of San Antonio?
The west side, man, like the ghetto.
What high school did you go to?
Business careers, like Holmes. But that was...
My mom went to J.
Oh, yeah. See, yeah, those were like the two schools.
Yeah. My uncle actually went to Holmes for a little bit because the two Griffin brothers played there, right?
Yeah.
My uncle played with them.
Oh.
And one of my uncles went there, and then the rest of the siblings went to John Jay.
Yeah, that's tight. That wasn't even my home school either.
No.
Have you heard of Memorial?
Mm-hmm.
That's where I grew up, like deep in the west side.
Okay.
Like, be careful if you walk outside.
Yeah. I mean, really, the whole west side's like that.
Yeah, it gets rough.
Because Marbach's
Yeah. Oh yeah.
ghetto, and
All
that's
stuff.
right by where my mom grew up. All the houses that my mom grew up on all have burglary bars on the windows and doors and stuff. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. But yeah, no, my mom from the hood.
Yeah.
But that's crazy.
Yeah, that's cool. And now we're out here in North Austin. It's a little different, just a
little different.
Yeah, especially now.
The only reason people would know John Jay is, I don't know if you remember, but a while back, it's like
the
4
ref.
years ago. It was like 4 or 5 years ago. The ref just got tackled by one of the football players, and he started punching. Yeah.
He was walking across the field.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember that.
That was John Jay.
Wow.
That was John Jay.
Okay.
And I was going to Holmes when that happened, so we were all
you're
like,
in.
Dang.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that was.
Are those big high schools? Are they 6A?
I don't know what class they are.
Now I think it's 6A.
Okay.
When I was going there, I'm pretty sure it was 5A. It might be 6A now. I don't know.
If you were there then, it's 6A now.
Yeah.
Because everybody just moved up.
I graduated in 17.
Yeah, it's 6A now.
Yeah, okay.
That's crazy. Damn.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That's crazy.
So did you get a scholarship to Texas State, or did you that's where you applied and that's where you got in? Or?
No, yeah, that's where it's actually the only college I applied to. I knew I was going to go there. My 2 older siblings went there. I got a scholarship to a few places in San Antonio, some small scholarships, like community college, UTSA wanted to give me something, but I wanted to get out of San Antonio, and it wasn't just I wanted to copy my siblings because they went to Texas State or anything. They had what I wanted to do, and that was they had a good communications department. I went to college. I really wanted to be a sports writer, and I thought they would be good for that, but things changed, but it worked out because I ended up being in electronic media. It's kind of similar, but you know, it worked out for
like
me.
it's more the fun side.
Yeah, I mean that's why I'm here. Like,
Yeah,
exactly.
I wanted to go to UT for communication as well,
Right.
And they have the number 2 communication program in the country,
right, yeah.
and Cal Berkeley's number 1. But yeah, I was just in school and I was like, I'm not doing this.
I'm not doing it.
Yeah,
I
was sitting in math class and I was like, I don't want to be here.
It's
That
always
was it.
math class.
That was it.
I almost dropped out multiple times. It's actually like, that's in a way, that's how I got into sports broadcasting, because I wanted to drop out. And like, that's kind of a long story. But
Did you started at writing?
yeah, like my freshman year, I wanted to get into journalism. I wanted to be like a beat writer, like travel with the team maybe or whatever. And
got you.
I don't know if y'all have heard of Medium, but like I would write some stuff on Medium. It's just a place where like you can write whatever. It's like a social media. I only wrote like 3 stories. They were like NBA stories, and they got some traction, and I was pretty good at writing, but I just didn't really enjoy it that much. Yeah. Like it was, and I knew I wasn't gonna get paid a dime for it if I stuck with that. So like, and I'm cool with not getting paid a lot, but I want to like love it. And writing, I knew I wasn't gonna love it. So I eventually stumbled into sports broadcasting there.
What made you push to journalism then, if you knew like you weren't gonna love it like that?
Because I thought I was really like at
so
first.
Going into college, you're like,
well, I think I was just confused. It's like one of those things where you're good at something, so you're like, all right, like,
you just do it.
I'm about to do it. And yeah, I didn't like it as much as I thought I did. I was just pretty good at it. Like the first article I wrote was like about Westbrook. I was a 18-year-old freshman, and it got a lot of traction on Medium, but I didn't really enjoy writing it as much as I thought. Like, so I was like, there was like a year where I was struggling, like, what am I going to do? And that's when, like, I eventually started working for the ESPN Plus crew at Texas State. And I just fell in love with that immediately, pretty much.
So were you about to drop out and then you just, like, I guess, transferred your, you moved majors, I guess?
Yeah. Well, I'll try. It's a long story, but I'll try and make it quick. Like, sophomore year, I was just like working on campus, you know, making sandwiches and stuff, you know, barely getting paid. And I was working on the side for my brother's business at that time. He was he had a business where he would market accountants, but he also wanted to get like into the sports aspect of that too. I would edit videos for him online. So to get into sports, he wanted to take a Super Bowl trip to Atlanta. Yeah, I think this was Atlanta. It was like Patriots against the Rams. He wanted to go there for Super Bowl weekend, not to the actual game, but there was a lot of events during Super Bowl weekend. And entrepreneur named Gary Vee was going to be there. So, and we looked up to him a lot. He was having a meet and greet, so my brother, he flew us out there. You know, he paid for all my stuff. I skipped like a few days of school. So my plan was I wanted to ask Gary Vee for an internship. I was going to drop out of school. And his company is in New York. So I was like, I'm finna go to New York if I get this. And sure enough, like when we're there, I meet him or whatever. Me and my brother made like a little video to impress him. And it worked. So Gary Vee hooked me up with his brother who was handling the sports side of his company called Banner Sports. And that's where I wanted an internship. So I talked to his brother and he's like, yeah, like, let's do it. And he got me in touch with his agent. And so, you know, flew back, San Marcos. I'm in school. And I'm, like, communicating with his agent, like, okay, like, when are we going to do this or whatever? And his agent, he's like, so, yeah, we actually can't give you an internship right now. This was, like, early in the year, you know, Super Bowl time, early February. Mm-hmm. He was like, at the end of the year, we'll have more spots. But the thing that changed my life, he told me, right now we need you to get more experience in sports. For the college you're going to, work for their sports department, the media team, whatever that means to you, whether it's editing videos or being a videographer. So I was like, shoot, okay, whatever. I'll stay in college until the end of the year or whatever. And sure enough, like the next day in class, my soon-to-be boss was saying they needed more people for the ESPN Plus crew because Texas State was about to start broadcasting every single game, every single football, basketball game, baseball. They needed people. So I was like, bet. signed me up, and that's what I did. Like I didn't necessarily want to do that. It was Gary Vee's brother's agent who told me to do that, and I was just supposed to do it temporarily until I can move to New York, do this internship, and I just stayed doing that. Like I fell in love with it immediately. I never hit Gary Vee's agent up back again. Like, and so that changed my life. Just like diving in and working camera. I had never worked camera in my life, but I was good at it right from the start just because I watched so much sports. And my boss would tell me that, like, after games, I'd be new, and he'd be like, you watch a lot of sports, don't you? And I'm like, yeah, kind of. So I kind of, like, stumbled into that, really, and that's my passion now, I'd say.
Did you get back from, what was this, Atlanta it was in?
Yeah, I was at Atlanta.
Did you get back from Atlanta and literally the next, like, the day you went to class that came up?
Yeah, I was, like, the next day.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That's wild.
Yeah, like that. So that's how I knew, like, it was meant to be, and that changed my life. And
what made you not follow back up with the agent? Just because you knew you had like a career path, or was it more of just?
Yeah, I'd say that.
Yeah.
Like I was like, I think I want to do this for a long time. I want to like be a cameraman for the NFL and stuff, and like I loved it more than anything I'd done, and I've done a lot of stuff. Like I was a percussionist for like 10 years. I was in drumline at Texas State for a long time.
Okay.
And you know, just like anybody else growing up, I played football, and you know, in high school, right when I made varsity, I actually quit to join drumline. But with all those, like I was never like super in love with it. How I fell in love with sports broadcasting, and I love sports, and I was good at camera, and you know, I love the adrenaline rush. So now I'm thankful that I still get to do it on the side, usually for UT games, which like some of those games are huge, especially football. So yeah.
So when you first started out working for ESPN, do they just throw you straight on to what you're doing now, or do they like put you on the field and you work with somebody first and then kind of work your way up? Because did you ever even have it for what you do now? Did you even have experience for it, or they just kind of threw you on it?
No, yeah. Well, at Texas State, they threw me on it. Like, so you're supposed to shadow a person doing it, but I was shadowing someone doing handheld camera, and that's the camera you'll see me doing now. Like, and his name was Patrick. He was like a big old buff dude. You know, we were just doing a volleyball game. I was only supposed to be watching him. He was supposed to be training me. His arm got tired. And he was like, here you go. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. So, yeah, I just got thrown on. And that's pretty much how, like, everyone starts there. It's because it's all students, and everyone just gets thrown on. Some people just stay in the control room, and that's where you work like graphics, shading, all that other stuff, replay. But I never got super into that. I was pretty focused on camera. So I got thrown into it. The first game was rough, and then I picked it up really quickly. And I think most people do. Like, I think camera and sports broadcasting, it's really easy to pick up, but it's hard to master. It's hard to be the best at. So that's what I work towards a lot. I'm pretty sure I work more than anybody else times 2. Like,
what do you look for when you film
on camera?
Yeah. So
a lot of it is you just kind of know what kind of shots you want if you watch sports. Like the shots you see on TV, it'll kind of come naturally to you, and that's how you start off being a good cameraman. And then you start getting more specific. Like you start learning how to focus quicker, because like when you zoom in and out your shot, like the focus will be all out of whack. So you got to like focus real quick before they take your shot, you know. And you can really get creative with that, because you're telling a story. It's a sports like it's live. It's a show. And it was on ESPN Plus. Like, you got to be creative if it's baseball and a player gets struck out or whatever. Like, you got to make the decision. Are you going to go to the pitcher, or are you going to go to the guy who just got struck out? And a lot of times the director will tell you. But what makes you a good cameraman is just knowing, like, what to do. So stuff like that. You really have to know, and you have to be focus. There's a lot of small elements that goes into it.
So do you have like a director in your ear just telling you? Like,
Yeah.
Kinda?
So your director will usually tell you to get most stuff. Some directors don't talk that much, but a lot of times it's up to you. Like, you just got to know. Like, when I started at UT, I was working for completely different directors, and I had to, like, get acquainted with them first, because some of them don't talk as much. Some of them will ask you for more shots. Some of them will yell at you. Some of them will be, like, really quiet. So, but I think what has made me a good cameraman, I just kind of know, just because I grew up my whole life watching sports. So that, I think that's really the key to my success, is I've watched so much sports my entire life. So do you work for ESPN, or are you a freelance videographer, or both? I'm a freelance. So right now I work for CBS Austin. That's my main job. I work in television, and that's something, my position is called master control operator. Nobody knows what that is. I didn't even know what that was when I applied. I just knew it was a good stepping stone out of college. So I basically, to describe that quickly, like, I get paid to watch TV. Like, I count in the news team in and out and stuff. And it's pretty simple. It's one of those jobs where it was, like, really hard to learn because there's so much stuff. But once you get it, like, it's like the same thing every day. I mean, sometimes stuff goes wrong. It's live TV. So that's my main job, 5 days a week. And then on my 2 days off, that's when I'll try to do, like, the freelance gigs. It's usually for UT, because I work under a company that does UT video board shows and stuff. And my boss from Texas State, my old boss at ESPN Plus, he's the one who hooked me up with this company. So that's mainly what I do on the side. Like, it's just a classic case of, doing what you love on the side. And that was always my plan. I low-key thought I was going to, like, work at McDonald's fresh out of college, and then just do that on the side and try to work my way up. So I'm blessed enough to work in television too at CBS Austin, and do more television outside of it.
I worked in one game on the field for it was the spring football game 2018, something like that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
My mom used to work for Longhorn Network, and she they needed extra people, and so she got me on the field.
Dude, that's tight.
What's the circle thing called? It's like a half circle. It's clear. It has the microphone in the middle, and you point it wherever they're at.
I know what you're talking about.
That's what I started at, and then the guy who was supposed to do it showed up late, and so he took it, and they were like, just go follow these camera people and help them with the wires. So I was like,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's all that, like that. Like, I don't do that, but I work with those people.
Yeah.
And Longhorn Network, I don't work with Longhorn Network, but I work, like, alongside them. We do similar stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, maybe I'll eventually do that, work with Longhorn Network. I am interested in that.
Yeah.
But so that's something that's really cool. And the spring game too, it literally just happened this past week. It's the only game I missed. And I was mad about it too, because Matthew McConaughey was there. I'm usually on the sidelines, and I get to see anybody who's there. Like, instead, I got, like, Greg Abbott and stuff. I didn't get.
Definitely stepped down.
When you were going back to ESPN Plus, when you were working there, did you was that like a paid thing, or was it just voluntary?
Yeah. The ESPN Plus Tech State, we got the regular student pay, and they don't pay a lot. They're paying us like $750. But
wait, for real?
Yeah, but that's how much, like, I loved it, or we all loved it, like. And
I would figure they would pay more. I mean, because you have to pay for ESPN Plus, and it's not cheap. Yeah, it's for a year. I mean, it is cheap theoretically, but for a year, it's I think $60, $70, something like that.
Yeah.
And think about how many people buy it.
Yeah,
because the UFC fights are on it, soccer games are on it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Longhorn Network's on it.
I don't really know what goes into that, but, like, it just wasn't us. It's most Texas State employees. Like, my roommate was an equipment manager. He also got paid, like, similar money, and he was putting in crazy hours. So yeah, now, like, I get paid like 5 times that at UT games, and so
because you just get paid for that day, right?
Yeah,
I think when I did that, I got paid like $250 or something like that for the day. I was like, I didn't even do nothing. I'll take it.
They'll straight pay you like $300. Like to like hold a cable the whole time. So it's eventually worth it. And the thing is, like, I never really cared how much I was gonna get paid. Like, yeah, it was important because you gotta make a living.
Yeah.
But I knew, like, as long as I kept doing this and doing what I loved, that the money would come. And when I accepted that first UT football game gig, I had no idea how much they were gonna pay me. Like, I was like, I would do this for free, honestly, just to get my foot in the door. You know, I didn't think I'd have that opportunity, because it was presented to me 2 days before the home opener. They're like, we need someone to fill in. And I was like, bet. Like if I see an opportunity, I would do anything to do it. And at that time, I actually had a shift at CBS Austin, and I was pretty new. So I was like, I can't miss this. But, you know, I took the risk. I asked my supervisor, like, can you cover this shift? Like, I really want to work this UT game. And he's clutch. He did it. So I got
That's dope.
with the UT game, and they're like, we're going to pay you $300 for the day.
Yeah.
If you do good, we'll bring you back. And I did good. So I got
You
to
are
work
there a
every
long
game.
time, but
yeah.
you are there a long time.
Yeah,
but
like the morning games, the 11 a.m. games, we have to get
6
there like
a.m.,
6
5
a.m.
Yep.
But a lot of time we're just chilling. Like,
You are.
we have to have like a 2-hour rehearsal. The whole time I'll just be like sitting.
You don't do anything.
Sitting down, messing around.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but that was cool though, because that's where I got to meet all the other people, and I was by far the youngest. So that's when you become a sponge and you start asking people questions, like, because these guys have been in the industry for 10, 20 years, and you know, ask them for advice. I'll be like, this is my first thing out of college.
Those conversations, like,
yeah. So that's how you get better, really. You got to be a sponge and soak up all the information all the vets are willing to give you. And some of them are very standoffish. They don't, you know, they're just there for business.
Yeah.
But a lot of them are pretty cool, and they'll help you out and they'll train you. And so that's really helped me, just like all the mentors I've had and all the people I've met. So, yeah.
So touching back a little bit more on that freelance camera work, have you done anything outside of the UT games or anything like that, like high school games or
other
stuff like
so that? High school football was actually the first thing I did.
Okay.
Like, I was doing high school football like as soon as it started, and it started like right before those UT games. I was like even doing the scrimmages for a little bit, and I was like, if this is all I can get, like, I'll take it. High school football. And they paid fine. They paid pretty good. So, like I said, I was working 5 days a week at my main job, CBS Austin, and then I was doing high school football for the 6th day. And then when that UT gig came along, that was the 7th day. So I ended up working every day, depending on if UT played home or away. Like November and October, in those 2 months combined, I only had like 3 days off. And some days I'll work high school football back to back. So I was just going. I did a bunch of high school football every week, sometimes twice a week. So that's what got me like really in it too.
Was it all local games or did you travel?
They're all pretty local. A lot of them were
Austin ISD?
No, a lot of them were in New Braunfels. I've done some around here for the same company I work for with UT, because they also do other stuff. They do high school football. They do Austin FC games, which I haven't done yet, but I will get on it. Like, I actually had to pass up a gig this Saturday with them, which sucked because that was like the third time I did that. But
have you been to a game?
No,
bro, they're
fun.
I'm almost dead set on not going to a game until I'm working it, until I'm behind that camera. But
do you get to experience games while you're working?
Like the same way?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. It really depends. Like it's really the energy and stuff. So working at like Austin FC games, I would definitely feel that. And that's the best part about being on camera. Like those hype games, like those first UT games, the first 3 before they started to suck, you know, like the overhype. So, but as far as like actually knowing what's going on in the game, sometimes you have like no idea.
Are you a UT fan?
I root for them, but I'm not.
So, really. Well, did you go or film the LSU game?
No.
No. Mm-hmm. So if it's a game like that and like they're doing good, like when you're working, you can't cheer, obviously, or you can cheer. Like, how does that?
You can, yeah. Like, some of the people I work with are UT fans, especially my director. Like if UT lost, I remember one home game, like I think it was against Kansas, like overtime or double overtime. You know, they choked. My director was in our headset cursing, and so, like, I mean, you can.
He wasn't the only one.
Yeah.
He wasn't the only one.
You're laughing because you're an OU fan.
Of course.
Right? Yeah, no, I get it. So like, so me, I'm not a big UT fan, so like I'll root for them because I want to work for a team who's good.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, more fans would come and the energy would just be like, like way better. Yeah. But they're not my favorite team, right?
Like, I was actually in the car today. I was watching like when UT played LSU. And just like how full the stadium is.
Yeah.
Like that's cool to see.
I went to that game and like that was insane. It was insane.
Yeah, well, that's dope.
Yeah, because I was just asking, like, because I was seeing if you got to cheer. Because, like, if you go to, like, just a regular game as a spectator, like, you get to, in my opinion, experience it, like, fully.
Yeah.
Obviously, I don't do what you do. So I feel like when you're a cameraman, you can't necessarily cheer, like, how you want to cheer.
You can't, like, because if a huge play happens at the end, like, especially my job at UT, I had to get a lot of fan shots. So right after the play was done, they'd go to my shot, like, on cams, fans going crazy. So that's when, like, I feel, like, real hype, but I got to, like, contain myself. Like, I got to get this shot. And sometimes it's so crazy. I'm, like, shaking and trying to focus. And
it's probably good you're, like, not really work for a team you like that. Cause, I mean, if that was me and it was, like, I was doing, like, an OU game, I couldn't do that. Like, It just, I couldn't be –
oh, break a camera.
Yeah, And then especially like getting mad and stuff. Like, nah.
That's how I was at Texas State though, because like Texas State, like obviously since I went there, I root for them every game. And I remember one football game, one of my last games working at Texas State against UTSA. Like we lost in overtime or whatever, and that was when I was like.
That's when UTSA was ranked too. It was like the first year they were ranked, wasn't it?
I'm not sure. I don't remember if they were ranked.
Or was the year right before they got ranked?
Right before
I think it was
they
before.
were like super cold because they were cold last year.
Yeah, it was. It was the year before. It was.
They were good last year.
So, but yeah, we had him, and you know I think our like kicker he missed the extra point or something. I was like, bro, get this camera off of me. Like, that is when it breaks my focus. Like you just get all sad.
How was that going to like those Texas State games? I know. Like, I almost went there to go play football when I was thinking about transferring.
Right.
So I just know, like, the fan base and it's not.
Ooh.
Yeah. How is that?
So, yeah, the fans, like, they'll get hyped sometimes, but Texas State's not all that good, really. So, like, it's hard to blame people for not showing up. But, like, a game like that, like the UTSA game, it was sold out. That might have broke the attendance record.
Really?
Like, so that's what I was talking about earlier. Like, those are the best games when, like, everyone's cheering and stuff. And sometimes it does get hard to focus, like, if that's your favorite team and they lose like that. So it's really only the big games like that. Or I know if they're facing, like, a big team. This past year, the first game was against Baylor, the home opener.
They actually played them good, too.
Yeah. They only lost by, like, a touchdown or something.
Like, it was super close.
So, yeah, people will, like, always come out for those games. And Texas State, they never really, like, they don't win a lot, but they never really got blown out. So that was cool. So I feel like every game was pretty interesting. So I don't know, maybe more fans would show up in the future.
It would be nice if they got not good, but I mean, I don't know, just better. I just look at it, it's like you're in the state of Texas, and I look at schools like Sam Houston and how good they are at their level.
Yeah.
I don't know, I just feel like they can get players to go there and be
Dude,
good.
yeah,
it's Texas, you know.
It's frustrating. Like, I didn't watch that much college football this past year, like, besides working UT games. But I still watch, like, a bunch of Texas State games, not only because, like, I'm a fan, but I also want to see how my old crew is doing at ESPN Plus because they're broadcasting those games. Like, I want to see how the show is. And, yeah, usually Texas State loses in, like, the worst possible way, like the dumbest way at the end. So it's tough to watch, but I think they're close to being good. But we've also been saying that for like 3 years.
They just need like a coach like a young, high energy coach there, and I think it'd be fine. It's also just it's a stigma with Texas State, like the fans. Like people just go tailgate there and then go to the square, go to Chimmy's.
Okay, so
shit like that.
That is the thing. Like the tailgates are huge. Everyone will go to the tailgates, and only a few people will like show up to the games because. like either they don't care or they're just too messed up to even walk into the stadium. Like they're already sloshed.
Yeah.
Or they'd rather just go straight to the square. So yeah, I hate to like put that on Texas State, but they are pretty good at living up to a reputation of being just a party school sometimes.
Yeah, it's nuts down there.
So that was frustrating too, because before I did the ESPN Plus thing, I was in drumline, so I got to perform a lot. And my sister was a dancer; she got to perform a lot. So we'd always see like how many fans are there, and you know, there usually was like barely any at the start because they were all at the tailgate. And then people would come fumbling in, but
I feel like with the close games there too, I feel like people would go to the stadium like, oh, the game's close, like let's go to the game type deal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And that works out better. I guess it just depends, like really, who they're playing and stuff.
At least you got happy during the baseball games.
Oh yeah.
They're good at baseball, aren't they? Good at basketball too?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, they're pretty good. Like
they won a Sun Belt.
And volleyball too, right?
Yeah,
they were.
They're usually nationally ranked in volleyball. So Texas State has been good at like everything for the past few years except football. But you know how it is, especially in Texas. Like everyone will focus on the football team, so it makes Texas State look bad when they're bad. But yeah, if you look into baseball, basketball, volleyball, they're usually top of the conference. And right now, baseball is ranked. And last year when I was working there, they weren't ranked, but they're pretty good. They're really good.
I played baseball.
Right.
So
right.
I always followed college baseball.
Right.
They've always been good. They've always had a good program. So like this year when they beat Texas and everybody's going crazy, I'm just like, y'all always y'all beat us in the past before. Like y'all always had a good program. Like
everyone is. I was on the fence about that because I came from Texas State, but I'm working for UT now, and I almost worked that game, I think, because that was here,
game.
Right?
We went.
Yeah, I almost worked that game, so I was like, I didn't know who to root for, because I was like, this is the team I'm working for right now against the team I went to school with. I guess I was rooting for Texas State, but I didn't like afterwards, like seeing all this stuff on Twitter, like Texas State calling.
It definitely annoyed me. I was like,
you were at that game.
I was like, bro, this is a basic Wednesday, Tuesday game, bro. What are you cheering for?
Yeah, like I wouldn't have got that hype, but I guess I understand.
I mean, the only reason I guess because they were the number one team in the country, but like.
Oh yeah, they were.
We just beat y'all the night before. Y'all beat us like the next day, and then we play y'all one more time. I think coming up here soon, at Texas again.
Okay.
But no, I mean. I guess it just rubbed me the wrong way. One, because of the way they're acting, and two, because they're a good team. Like they're not a bad team.
Yeah, like they say, like act like you've been there before.
That's exactly what I said.
And that was my thing. I was like, okay, y'all gotta chill out. Like I get like trolling and stuff, but like.
Nah, it was hilarious. Like, we were at the game and we were like sat like kind of on the visitor side.
Right.
And the fans down there, they literally had their phone up. It was a long at bat, like last at bat.
It was two at bats.
Yeah, 2 at bats, and they just had their phone up and they were recording like the last out. And they just, every time they were recording, they did it like at least 10 times. It was hilarious.
Oh man,
it's like,
oh, it was funny.
Yeah, so like I was happy for Texas State, but I'm a little salty that like really started UT's fall from number one, and I don't know. Yeah, Texas State they can get pretty annoying sometimes, but. I know a lot of people are annoyed with UT fans, and too, that's just how sports is. Like
it is.
That's why I don't really say much anymore. Like, you just gotta enjoy it. You can't be one of the people who get like too mad about it, too petty, too angry. Like it's a game.
I definitely do.
Know?
Oh, for sure.
I definitely do.
With that school in Austin,
I definitely do. I get like especially because like I'm a big baseball fan. So it's like when Texas baseball sucks or they lose, like I generally get pissed.
Yeah.
Just because like so far they beat themselves for the most part.
Yeah.
Like with the way we lose is literally because of home runs. That's literally it. Like they'll hit a home run, 3-run home run, 2-run home run, grand slam.
Trust me.
So
I
it's
know,
like
bro.
it's like.
Yeah.
So
especially against like when it's
like when we lost to Texas. So the first game we played Texas State. Y'all scored so many runs because you hit a grand slam and like a 2-run home run.
It was there, right?
It was at San Marcos. Score was 10-9.
Yeah.
And then the next day, y'all had a big 4th inning or 5th inning, and y'all hit a home run in that inning.
Yeah.
And like when we played Texas Tech, the first game,
Dude,
The only runs that were scored were home runs. Between both teams. So it's like when we lose, it's like, dude, like when we lost to College of Charleston.
Oh yeah.
It was the first inning. They gave up 6 runs. One of them,
Dude,
the grand slam.
I see all this stuff because like I worked in the news, and I'm working during the 10 p.m. news, so they always wrap up in the sports segment what happened. And our sports anchor, he's like, he just seems like he's saying the same stuff like every week. Like, yeah, Texas
It's just we
blew
lose
it.
because of home runs. We won yesterday, but
Yeah.
But we lose because of the home runs. So like that's like the. I mean, I love football. Don't get me wrong, and I'm a big UT football fan. But I mean, I played baseball, and that's like my favorite sport, second favorite sport.
How'd you feel last year when didn't they like go to the?
I was pissed. I think that was like the first time he's seen me like actually mad at a at a UT game or like a game in general, because I'm also a Cowboy fan.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm just like. At this point, I'm used to it at this point. I just kind of shrug it off at this point between like Texas football, Cowboys football. It's like I can't expect much anymore.
Yeah.
I was just telling them today. I was like, dude, my heart just can't take it anymore.
I feel you.
So my expectations are just here, and if they go good, my expectations are still here.
I feel you. That used to be me.
But no, last year Texas baseball was definitely a heartbreaker.
Yeah, I was rooting for them.
Definitely a heartbreaker, because I definitely thought that we could have beat Vanderbilt. Because we just had to get past really lighter, and I knew they couldn't hit well.
Yeah.
And our pitching staff was great, and
yeah, I mean,
just went the other way.
It happens, man. That's why I was
a good game.
So I was kind of salty when they lost to Texas State, and then they started dropping in the ranks, because I wanted to see them go back. And
I mean, they'll still. So in baseball, the way it works is top 16 teams will host a regional. Top 8 teams will host a super regional.
Right.
So I guess the top 8 teams that are left from the regional host the super regional. So if say 1 through 8 nationally ranked teams make it to after the regional, they'll host the super regional. So they can still host and they can still make it to Omaha. Will they? This is the first time where I'm like skeptical about our pitching, because it's usually our hitting, but like our hitting's quote unquote doing good this year, and our pitching's not good at all. They should at least make it to a super regional.
Yeah, I'll definitely keep up with it, and I might work some more games, so I'll see. I'll be thinking about
I'm just hoping we host, because we had to get top 8 national seed.
Yeah.
Because Texas State was ranked like 10 at one time, and he was like, they're not going to stay there. But I personally wanted them to be 16 and Texas, because I wanted to go to both. Like, so we could do content and stuff.
Yeah.
But really, just to go
that'd
to
be tight.
Both regionals.
Because when they were ranked 10, I was like, if they lose one series, they're dropping to 20. And I think they lost against Georgia Southern, I think. And they dropped to 19. And now I think they're like 15 or 17 or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly what they are. But it'll be good for Texas State definitely to host a regional, because you have only made one regional since 2012.
Really?
And you have never hosted.
Yeah,
so to host a regional is a big thing.
And y'all's fan base, it'd be bumping up there.
For sure.
Dude, I'd try to go down there if that happens.
Yeah. So I mean, because the Texas State game is typically sold out.
Yeah.
So if it's a regional, I mean, it's going to be sold out. It's like
wild.
it's playoffs, and it's probably like one of the few sports where tickets are affordable for playoffs. Because I think at least at Texas, I think you can get like the 2 games for like $40 or something like that.
Yeah.
That's nice.
And that's typically what it is. So
it'd be wild though if that happens, especially after what happened of past 2 games. Like, it get hype. It get pretty hype.
Yeah. But I mean, you still got a long season.
Yeah.
Anything can happen. That's the beauty of baseball. Anything can happen.
Right.
That's why I like it so much. But anyways, back to you. What you do now for CBS, what necessarily is that? Like, I know you said you get paid to watch TV, but like what does your job entail?
So really, to put it a simple way, like, I have to make sure everything on the CBS channel runs correctly. So I'm in charge of making sure the commercials run on time, the shows start on time, our newscast starts and ends on time. So that's why I'll count in the production team, count them out, make sure they finish on time. And like it can get tough. There's live stuff. Sometimes the news team goes over. They're like, "Hey, we need 15 more seconds." So I have to delete like a 15-second promo. Usually not like a local commercial spot, because that's like where we make our money.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And that's why my job is so important, because I got to make sure all our local commercials run. Like, those people pay us a lot of money.
What are local commercials?
It's just like
HEB?
HEB.
Like
Yeah,
stuff
yeah,
like
yeah.
that?
Pluckers.
Okay.
exactly
Stuff like that.
all that stuff. So I see 1,000 commercials a day, and I have to make sure they all run correctly, and especially during sports on the weekends. Like, everyone's watching the games. We aired some playoff games, and that's when they're like, okay, like, you better not mess up, because sometimes it is weird. It's I'm not gonna go into it, but like, I operate off of a playlist, like, and I time out everything correctly.
I've seen it before, like being in the Longhorn Network.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
back,
it's pretty much like that. So I gotta make sure everything is just on time, and sometimes it's a lot of math. Sometimes you have to make quick decisions. Like, one commercial might end like 5 seconds earlier than you thought, and then you have like 5 seconds of black. Like, so if you're ever watching TV and it goes to black, or a commercial gets cut off, that's my fault. It's the master control operator, and there's one for like most channels. So if you ever see something like that happen, it is 1,000% my fault.
Is it stressful job?
Yeah, I was about to ask that. High stress.
At first it was. Now I'm just like, whatever. I'm pretty comfortable. And we had this thing. I don't know how much I can like say about this, but in November there was like a cyber attack on Sinclair, the company CBS is in. So all of our systems crashed, and like things were going bad constantly. Like, it was hard to get the news team on air. Like, our channel was just messed up. So like, we experienced a lot of mess ups during that, but that got me comfortable. Like, if you mess up, just whatever, like, recover. Like, I messed up the other night on Monday. Like, I cut off the news team like a little too early, and my boss talked to me about it. I was like, I was just like, I miscalculated the out time. Like, and that rarely happens because I'm so used to it. But, it happens at this point. It doesn't get me like super nervous. I remember like the first month, I would be so nervous. Like, for example, like during an award show, like the Grammys will have like the 10 p.m. newscast right after. And usually award shows go over. They run long. Mm-hmm. So they're supposed to end, say, like at 10. The newscast is supposed to start. I'm supposed to count in the production team at 10. But the Grammys are running long. So the whole time I have the production team on standby. Like, standby, they still have like 2 more awards or whatever. I got to make sure that I tell the production team to start at the correct time. Like, if I see the Grammys, the credits rolling, I'll be like, okay, get ready. And then CBS will pop up like a 10-second promo real quick. Just advertising whatever for CBS. So I'll count them down as soon as I hit that 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, and then we'll go. But it's really easy to mess that up if you're not paying attention. So those are like the moments that'll get me kind of nervous. So it's really just all the live events. And like sometimes it's like that with sports, but it's not like that all the time. So
If you mess up, do they get mad at you like that? Or is it more of like a
Just depends on what's next.
like what happened?
They'll talk to you about it. They don't really get mad because right now, like, we have a new supervisor, and he doesn't know that much. He came from another station, I think KVU or something. So really, I know more than anybody in that building, except for the guy who trained me on the primetime shift, because there's only like 2 people to a shift, me and the other primetime guy. So my supervisor's still like learning our systems and stuff. So if I mess up, he won't even like, he'll be confused about it. And I'll explain to him what happened. And he'll be like, okay, just like make sure you do this next time. So, but I've been a good worker and everything. I'm pretty reliable. I probably mess up one of the least. So I don't really get in trouble. Like, we'll have a talk about it and we'll try to prevent it from happening each time. Cause every mess up, like, there's always money involved. if I cut off a commercial, that's money. Like if I forget to run a sponsor during the 10 p.m. news, like that's money. So
they pay attention to stuff like that, like the people who pay y'all. So like
yeah,
if you cut it off 3
it's really,
seconds earlier, like they pay attention. Like
it's the sales department, really. So sometimes you can get away with it. I've had some crazy mess ups on the weekend, and nobody like it goes under the radar. Like it'll be like 30 seconds of black because I miscalculated when like the news would end, and no one will notice sometimes. But that's usually only on the weekends. Like during the weekdays, everybody's watching prime time, and that's why my shift is so important. Like I usually can't mess up like that.
What is your normal shift hours, or like how's that?
3 to 11 every day, and I only have Tuesdays and Wednesdays off, so I work weekends.
That's not too bad.
3
though.
to 11.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got used to it. I got pretty used to it, and the weekends are chill.
Whole morning and stuff too. Like you can really go to bed at 12 and like still wake up pretty early and do stuff throughout the day.
I usually go to bed at like 2 or 3, wake up at like 10. I get a workout in, and so I actually have like way more time than college. Like people will think I'm super busy. It's just that my schedule is like the opposite of most people, and that's why we've been trying to do this for so long. Because I'm usually busy during these hours. Like if I'm not there, I'm like working a UT game. So, but I do have the mornings to myself. Yeah. So I have way more time than college. In college, I was doing like 2 part-time jobs, classes, studying for classes. Like that's I hated school. But so now, like I like my schedule. I do hope to work mornings soon, just so I can like hang out with people and
have a social life.
Yeah, like this past month, I told them I wasn't gonna work any baseball games. I worked like 2 at first, but I just really wanted these days off, like so I can be here. Last week I went to a concert. The week before I went to like a boxing match, and I just sometimes you gotta slow down, and that's how I learned that the hard way. Like how I said, in November and October, I only had like 3 or 4 days off combined in those months. Like just because you're good at having a lot on your plate doesn't mean you should. Yeah. Because like if you fail to slow down, you start operating out of a depleted state. And when you start operating out of a depleted state, you become a shell of what God created you to be. And and that's when you start like just going through the motions, and anxiety starts winning battles in your head. Like, am I good enough? Am I gonna mess up today? Like this is like my 15th day working in a row. Am I gonna pass out or like? So I had to learn to slow down, and that's what I'm doing now. So right now I'm not working that much on the side and stuff, but I have that switch. Like maybe when football season comes back around, like I'm a dog when it's time. I'll turn that switch back on, and I know. A little reset. Yeah. I'll just go. But resting is important, and that's what I've been doing too.
So on those blackout screens that you'll have for like, I guess CBS.
Yeah.
On like ESPN Plus, they have the commercial break in progress. Is that what they just replaced that with?
Yeah, exactly. Like, so if we're in black, I'll throw up a CBS Austin slate. But usually, like it's different. Like if you're watching on the ESPN Plus app, like the local commercials, they don't pay to be on the app. It's only cable television. And so that's why, like, I work in cable television. So really, if you ever see that on cable television, that's bad. Like just CBS Austin, like that means like I'm panicking back there. Like, okay, like we need to get back on track somehow. So yeah, it depends. Like if you're watching on an app, that's probably not bad. If you're watching it over here on cable TV, which really a lot of people don't even watch anymore. Yeah. Like when I mess up, I'm upsetting like our parents, like all the old people. Like,
so. People that watch the news and stuff,
Yeah, I don't like the news, man. But
yeah, the same.
I try to block it out.
The only news I look at is like the weather.
Yeah.
I'll go on KV for the weather.
Yeah.
And then I'll just like on your iPhone, you swipe all the way left. It like gives you the news. I'll just read those headlines real quick and call it a day.
The news is like when you go to a hotel and you like turn it on when you first get there, and it's like you like hear about the crime in the city you're at. That's like what I think.
Dude,
the news.
Yeah.
What kind of cities you going to?
Shit, Albuquerque, boy. Tell you something.
I ain't never had that problem. What the hell? Tell me about the sunniness that's there.
Damn. Yeah, it gets brutal sometimes. Like sometimes it gets depressing, and that's why I try to block it out. And then we'll have the national news too, and that's when they'll start talking about like,
everything that's going on in the world.
Yeah, Ukraine and politics, and that's when I'm like, man, it sucks. Like, because some of this, it gets me mad or it gets me really sad. So, but at this point, I think I'm pretty used to it. I kind of block it out, but I also have a job to do, so I gotta kind of pay attention. So, I eventually, I want to move on from that. But right now, it's a really good starting job. Like they pay me pretty well. I can afford everything pretty much, and my whole life I struggled financially. Like I grew up west side San Antonio, both my parents high school dropouts, 5 kids, sharing a room with my brother, sharing a bed with my older brother. So right now, like, I'm just thankful, like, I have my own bed and I have a job I can provide for myself with. So I'm very grateful, and I think that's the key to happiness nowadays, is just having gratitude. And I'll admit it's probably easier for me since I grew up with not much, but that's something I try to keep in my head every day, or whenever I had bad days at work, or like I want to move on from this job, I got to remind myself, like, I literally prayed for this, like, so bad fresh out of college, like, and it's a huge blessing. So that gratitude always brings me back.
That's good. That's always good to have.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I don't know from experience, but just like from going to my grandparents' house or going to or hearing my mom talk about it, like they had my mom, my aunt, my 3 uncles, so 5 of them in a 2-bedroom house.
Yeah, that's how it was.
Yeah.
A lot of my friends had it like a lot worse than me too. A lot of the friends I grew up with, like my family situation wasn't even that bad compared. So it helps you put things in perspective, really. And I always keep that in the back of my mind.
From doing the Control Master stuff, like what are your goals, or like what's the next step that you wanna take, that you wanna do?
I've been thinking about that a lot recently, and see, I'm not really sure. I'm not the one to like make a plan. I'm always just like, whatever is in front of me, I'm just gonna work hard on it and grind. I want to work in sports broadcasting. I don't want to be a master control operator forever. But like, if I eventually, like, if I get an opportunity to do what I'm doing right now at CBS Austin, somewhere cooler, like ESPN or something, like, I'll probably take it. But I don't really see that happening. I don't know. And that's why I'm so big on, like, if you follow me on social media, I'm big on like God's plan, and not my plan, God's plan. And you really just have to figure out your purpose, and it's slow. So right now, like, it is a process. That's why I was saying, like, sometimes I want to get out of there. Like I'm tired of this, tired of the news. But then I got to realize, like, this is God's plan for me, whether I'm doing this for another year or another 10 years. Like, I'm sure it'll all work out. Like, right now, I don't see myself doing it for a long time. I see myself maybe completely transferring to 100% freelance. And I thought about that recently, just because that's when you get to work your own schedule, and I don't have to pass up gigs like Austin FC. Like, I passed that up 3 times, and that hurts. That hurts me. But like, I'm pretty comfortable where I am right now, having this job pay the bills, and then the extra money on the side.
Your old boss at Texas State doesn't have any connections anywhere that could like help you get into like ESPN or like ACC network, SEC network?
Maybe it's a lot easier said than done, because like he can steer me the right way all he wants, but like if they see that I don't have enough experience yet, they're not gonna take me. Like with the UT thing, it was last minute. They needed someone last minute, and thankfully I did a good job working at Texas State. So he called me up. He was like, I trust that you'll do a good job. And that's why it's important to work hard at everything you do. Like, because in college, I earned his respect, and he saw I was a good worker. So I was like the first one he called up during that. So it really just depends. It depends on who you know and how much you've done. So, and that's why I try to take advantage of every opportunity. Like right now, there's 1 billion people in Austin who have like way more experience than me in freelance camera work. So those are going to be the guys who get those bigger opportunities, and like, hey, we need you to film this Cowboys game this weekend. Like, can you do it? But so that's where the patience comes, and God's plan, not mine. Like, I can say I want to work for the NFL, but like we'll see. Like that's why just whatever is in front of me right now, like I'm gonna grind on it. Even if I don't end up working sports broadcasting, like I don't know, maybe I'll become a famous movie star, maybe I'll become a garbage man. Either way, like that's why I'm so grateful for what I am right now. Like as quickly as God has blessed me with everything I have right now, that can be taken away from me. So I'm very big on living in the moment, and that's how I stay happy. And yeah,
that's good. Do you have any like cameras of your own that you, besides like I know you do like when you do your jobs and stuff, do you have like your own personal camera that you use to like maybe do your own stuff with?
See, I don't, and I've thought about getting into that, and a lot of people get like confused on like they think I do that for like teams, but like what I do, I work in a team. They have the cameras, and it's usually like they're not wireless like that. They're like live cameras. So having my camera on the side, I've thought about doing that because that's when you can do all your own side projects, and I could probably pick that up quick. Not really like photography, like taking pictures, more like videography. Just because I'm so used to like recording live stuff. So I have thought about that. Maybe if I ever become full-time freelance, when I'm not working sports games, I'll try to do that. Like, because I feel like I would be down to work other stuff. Like I'm very big on music, like recording concerts and everything too. Like it wouldn't just have to be sports. So I definitely can see that happening, me getting a camera, but no, I don't have that right now. And I'm not very educated on cameras like that. So
we know people. So
yeah.
What's the craziest game you've shot?
Man, probably that Kansas one.
Yeah.
The overtime one. Like for me, it actually felt like the home opener. I don't even remember who UT was playing. I don't know if you remember.
Louisiana Lafayette.
This past year?
Yeah.
Louisiana Lafayette.
That was the craziest for me just because I've never been in that environment. I had never been to a UT game. I grew up watching UT because my dad's UT fan. He just he watched Vince Young, Colt McCoy, all those guys. So I naturally like watched UT too. I wasn't like a huge fan, but just being in that atmosphere, and I got to do the coin toss. Like I was the only newbie on our 8-man camera team, and I got to be right in the center, home opener. UT fans going crazy. It was super loud, and that's when I was like, man, this is crazy. So that felt like a huge game just for me, and they ended up winning, and the fans were pretty lit the whole time. But with that Kansas game, I think I was just already super comfortable. Like that was probably like the loudest game at the end. But at that point, I'm already like focused, like, got to get the shots, and they ended up losing. So it got quiet real quick.
Who are your teams?
So I'm very big on NFL, really. And I love the 49ers just because my dad raised me to be a 49ers fan. Sorry, I know they beat the Cowboys.
What? How? So is he from San Antonio or no?
Yeah, he's from San Antonio, but he grew up like all his family like the Cowboys, and he was one of those kids.
So it was the rival. It was during the rival time.
Yeah, he was one of those kids where like I'm gonna root against for.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so it was during those days, and he raised my whole family to be 49ers fans. So that is my team. Like I'm not super big on college football, but I'll root for North Carolina just because I'm from there. They haven't really been good at football. This year they weren't that good. Last year they weren't bad.
They've been decent lately.
Yeah, they've been better. Sam Howell, quarterback. So I won't get mad over those losses or anything. In basketball, I like OKC just because, like I said, I grew up watching UT. I watched Kevin Durant. He eventually got drafted to the Sonics, and then they turned to OKC. I just followed him and ended up liking the team. So I have a lot of different reasons. And then Rangers, just because I live in Texas. So I was like, I might as well have at least one Texas team. But yeah, the 49ers are like, that's when I get hype, how you're talking about. Like, I'll be punching walls. Like, I'll break mirrors. Or when OKC was good, too, and they had KD and Westbrook, and they blew a 3-1 lead to the Warriors in the Western Finals. God. But then, the Warriors ended up blowing a 3-1 lead to LeBron, and I love LeBron. So, it worked out. I'm not super, I don't watch as much sports as I used to, but I'm still in the know about it and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you see a lot of it, like working.
Yeah.
Where are you working?
Oh yeah, I get to see a lot, whether I'm at work or like I get on social media a lot, Twitter. Like I haven't watched much NBA this year, but I see all the highlights. You know, just last night, John Morant game winner and the dunk. Like
Yeah, he's going crazy. That game was.
You're going crazy.
yeah, so I'll always be in tune with that, and you know, I always watch the finals and stuff. Like I'm gonna watch the finals.
Were you able to watch the 49ers Rams game?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like I straight like don't miss a 49ers game. And usually I'll be working. We didn't show a lot of games on CBS. I think we only showed like the 49ers and Cowboys game.
Yeah, I was about to say that was on CBS.
Yeah, it was like literally my job to watch that. Like I got paid to watch my team beat the Cowboys, so that was cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, with the Rams, I was like kind of watching it off to the side while like I don't know, golf was going on or something. And that's when I was like, man,
punching air.
yeah, punching air, man. Jimmy G. But yeah, the 49ers.
You like Jimmy G?
Whew. I mean, I like him. I think he's a good leader. He's a solid quarterback, but I think it's Trey Lance time. You know, I don't think the 49ers linemen are good enough to just have a pocket passer like that sitting back. Trey Lance is mobile. He can run. I think Jimmy G deserves more credit than he's got. I still think he's top 20 quarterbacks. People act like he's the damn worst, and
Yeah.
he's solid, man. He's done some good stuff. I think
he just wins.
yeah, they do need to trade him though, because 49ers have like the biggest salary quarterback room. Like I think we're paying the second most for our quarterback room, and we're gonna bench him this season. We're paying him a lot of money to be on the bench.
Who's the first?
Trey Lance.
But he got
No. So who's the first? Because you said you're the second biggest. Who's the first?
I don't remember.
I'm trying to think.
That's what I can't think of
Shit,
anybody.
right
Maybe
now-
the
right now,
Packers. Maybe.
Them or the Browns right now.
Yeah,
if
maybe
you
the
count
Packers.
Deshaun and Baker's contract together.
Oh,
Could be them. I don't know. When did you see that?
this was like 3 weeks ago.
It might be the Browns then.
Might be that.
Yeah, Packers are the Browns because I think they paid Jordan Love
Yeah.
a decent
Yeah, he
amount.
got drafted in the first round too.
Yeah.
Those first round. That first
Wild
round money
pick.
is nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so I don't know.
You want Debo to stay?
Yeah, I was about to ask that.
Yeah, I want him to stay. He's my favorite player, and you know, there's a lot of reports going around right now. I don't know. He could have been traded like right now. We don't even know it. Like the draft is tomorrow, but I want him to stay. I think Debo is better with the 49ers, and the 49ers are better with him. I just think Kyle Shanahan can use people like no one else can, especially
He's
Debo.
Great play caller.
And having a player like that on your team, like it's just hard to replace. So
Yeah, he was. It was crazy what he was doing just that whole season. Just like not only as a receiver, but just like as a running back, because all those running backs got hurt for the 49ers.
Yeah.
They drafted Trey Sermon, and
Yeah.
like Molster got hurt.
oh man, first game.
Yeah,
too.
like
I feel like it's hard in his position because he doesn't want to play like running back anymore. He just wants straight wide receiver.
Yeah.
But like you can put him in so many packages where he's like at the end of the day, it's about the team, unfortunately, and
Yeah.
they're not going to care about you at the end of the
See,
day.
that's
how
the
it is.
thing. And even at receiver, he had the most drops in the league, and he didn't even get that many targets. Like I think he had 12 drops. So he was definitely best at doing both of those. So I don't know if he wants to be just receiver, like that's cool, but I don't think he should expect like the huge money like that.
yeah, it's just the market is insane. Like Christian Kirk got like $84 million.
Yeah.
He's okay. He's decent, but he's not. He got paid like a damn near like a number one on like a
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, everyone wants the money nowadays. I mean, Debo said it wasn't about the money, but we'll see. Like right now, like he's
Why
in
would
big
it not
talks
be
with
about
the,
the
with
money?
the Jets.
Yes, sir.
Like
Shut up, fake fan.
Like if you're going to the
back,
Jets,
baby.
it has to be about the money because they're not a Super Bowl contender.
Yeah.
But
They're
They can
kind
get-
of building the pieces. I'm not gonna
'cause
lie.
They got him, and they have Elijah Moore already, and then they draft like Olave or Garrett. That shit's nice.
Hey, Garrett's supposed to go.
they
to
tried to trade Elijah Moore apparently for Debo, like a couple picks.
I wouldn't be mad at that either.
Garrett's supposed to go to the Redskins.
That's disgusting.
That's what I said.
The Commanders.
The
Yeah,
Redskins.
the Commanders.
That's actually disgusting.
The Redskins.
Him and McLaurin would be nice, but like the team is just, their jerseys,
Yeah.
like it's disgusting.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah, that's shameful.
What other hobbies do you have? Because I know when I met you and I followed you on Instagram, you had like a Honda Civic that you
yeah.
Are you still driving that?
Yeah, I'm still driving it. I don't really work on it because that was like a project car.
Okay.
You know, and that was my hobby for a little bit. I think I just got tired of fixing that up. I never really got inside the hood, and I don't even have a license. I don't know if I can say that. Like, I don't.
Really?
So I can't be out here like racing and
as long
stuff.
as you don't get caught, hey.
Yeah.
Like for like just the simple fact that I haven't taken my driver's license. Like I've been busy. I say that, but I've definitely had some time in the past few years.
Went to a boxing match.
Like,
went to hang out with friends.
I had that car for 2 years. Like, I don't know. I just never got around to getting my license.
Did you get like a car late or something? And so you like didn't really think about getting your license?
Well, I feel like I mean, I also don't know like your situation growing up, but the situation growing up also probably didn't hope that.
No, yeah, and that's the thing. Like, so I got that car 2 years ago, my junior year of college, simply just because I could never afford a car growing up. Like, I grew up in the trenches. My parents, they couldn't afford that either. We all had to work for a car. Like, granted, I could have been smarter with my money, like in high school working or whatever. I could have saved up, but I never did.
I mean, we're young. We don't think about that. Like, down the line, like, damn, I wish I did that. But, like, in the moment, like, we're young.
Yeah. And at Texas State, for the first few years, I lived right next to campus, so I didn't really, like, need a car. Like, it was whatever. So, yeah, when I got that car, it was mid-pandemic. And that's, like, the driver's license thing, the DMV, like, it was going to take months to get.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I'll just wait till this is all over. And
because I had to renew mine during that time. And it was like, for me to renew, it was like a 6-month wait. I was
gosh. See, yeah. So that was my excuse at first. Like, it's just a long wait. Now, I'm done. But yeah, I still drive it. I don't really work on it anymore. Now, like my hobbies, I like playing guitar. I like, watching movies, whatever. Like the stuff I grew up doing. Like I've played guitar for a long time. I was never that good, but I always do that on the side.
So I know you're a boxing guy. I'm a boxing guy.
Yeah.
You like Ryan Garcia, right?
Dude, yeah, I love Ryan G.
You like Ryan Garcia?
Dude, yeah, I love him.
Gross.
I don't think he's the best, but
I do like him because like I watched his upbringing and his story. Like
that's
I
the
like
thing.
that. Yeah, I do like that.
That's the thing. I feel like I can relate to him on that level. And people will like get on his case for being like a social media boxer or whatever. Yeah. But I'm one of the people like I like seeing that. I like seeing the process and stuff. And he's young. He has said some childish things like calling out people or whatever. But that's boxing. That's sports.
Comes with it too.
But I'm also non-biased. Like he's in like the most popular division right now, lightweight. Yeah. I can like Tank Davis. He's on top of that division. Yeah. And like I wouldn't hesitate to say like Tank would probably beat Ryan G.
He's knocking him out.
Yeah. Lomachenko's in there.
Yeah, Lomachenko. Oh my.
Both of them knocking him out.
Yeah, they're both
Ryan Garcia is probably not even top 3 yet, but I think he could get to that point.
He has potential. His defense is just kind of like he's fast and he does have power. It's just his defense.
Yeah, his defense, his footwork, he's still trying to mature on that. But yeah, so that's the reason why I like him. I'm not like one of those delusional fans who's like, oh, he's just better than everybody. I just like him because he's very relatable.
I understand that.
And you get to see all his stuff and the process and where he came from, and I feel like I can relate to that a lot more. And I could probably relate to a lot of other boxers too, because that's the story with a lot of boxers. Like they came from the trenches, but the thing with Ryan G, he'll actually talk about it, and he'll talk about like his anxiety issues and stuff like that. So that's why I'm a fan of him. Like I don't think he's the best.
His fight recently, right? Where was that at?
Yeah, that was in San Antonio.
Yeah, him and Tank both fought in San Antonio recently.
Tank fought there too.
Not that same card, but it was in October or something.
Yeah, last year.
Damn.
And yeah, Tank's the guy. He's raw. But like if they fight, I feel like Tank would win. But I'll definitely be rooting for Ryan G.
I just need them to fight just one because it'll be very entertaining. It'll be those high because like boxing right now it's just really just Canelo, and then you have like Fury fought this past weekend. But
Canelo's the top dog.
You got these younger people, and that division's nice. Errol Spence he just fought too.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
he's
cold.
He's
too.
top 5 pound for
Yeah.
pound. But
Oh, he built different. Man got in a car crash, came out knocking people
Yeah.
out.
You know, he wanted to fight without, like, he was about to lose his eye, and then he wanted to still fight, and then they told him no because he was just like, he literally would have lost his eye if he would have fought with how his eye was. It was like something was wrong with it.
Yeah, he's a dog.
He's different, built different.
2 questions. 1, how do you feel about the Paul brothers? And 2, how do you feel about UFC?
Okay, those are good questions. The Paul brothers, I'm indifferent on that. I don't like them as like people, but I like. Well, let me mainly talk about Jake Paul because he's the one really boxing.
Mm-hmm.
Like Logan Paul, he only had that Mayweather fight really, and I love Mayweather, so I watched it. Whatever. Jake Paul, what he's doing, his run, he hasn't lost. I like it because it has brought more attention to boxing. Some people say it's a dying sport, but he's gotten boxers more opportunity, like especially women boxers. Like I forgot her name, I think Amanda Serrato or whatever.
Yeah.
She's fighting this weekend, and she joined like Jake Paul's team, and he's really helping her get recognition. So I think that's cool, but at the same time, like I think he says a lot of out of pocket stuff that he should not say, and it makes me like him a lot less. And so I understand why people root against him, because sometimes it almost seems like he's making a mockery of the sport. But when it comes down to it, like as a boxing fan, like for me, it's all about entertainment. So if I turn on his fight and he knocks someone out, like that's entertaining for me. So cool. But I'm not gonna say he's a good fighter because I don't think he really is.
I just need his agent too, because that dude, like, every fight is so strategic. He just fights like with the washed up like MMA fighters, or dudes who just grappled in MMA.
Yeah.
Like,
so I think he's at the point now where he can't get away with that though.
Yeah.
Like his next fight has to be a boxer, and he was gonna face Tommy Fury last year.
Yeah, Tommy Fury.
I think he would have got beat.
Yeah.
And apparently they're in talks right now because he just fought too, Tommy Fury, and he won. But we'll see. I don't think he'll be like big in boxing or whatever. Like I think he's just like challenged Mike Tyson today, and it's like.
Is he able to fight Tank? He's too big, right?
No, yeah, he's too big.
Too big. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like when after he beat Tyrone, like that was like the number 1 person on his list was like Gervonta Davis, but I still feel like Gervonta will knock him out, but that's just me.
I know he will. Like boxing is tough, and like if you watch a lot of it, you can look at Jake Paul, and really the only thing he's good at is his knockout power. Like his footwork is so bad, but it depends on who he's fighting. I have usually been rooting for him because he's facing, going to your second question, UFC guys. I'm not a big UFC guy. I only watch like the big fights. If it's like a UFC fighter coming into boxing, I'm gonna root for the boxer, just because I don't like seeing like UFC guys like winning at the other person's sport. Like
I don't think they ever will though. I mean, vice versa.
Yeah, like with McGregor and Mayweather, like that. I rooted for Mayweather for sure.
Now, in my opinion, that will probably be the best UFC boxing crossover fight there. I don't say there'll ever be, but at this point right now, yeah. Because even Fury and Ngannou, yes, Francis Ngannou. They're talking about fighting.
He's gonna get cleaned
but
up, bro.
I don't think that will be a good. But I don't think that would be like a good fight.
Yeah,
I thought the Mayweather fight was stopped too early. Yeah, because that's the difference between like UFC. Because I'm a big UFC fan. I'm not a big boxing fan. I don't really like boxing like that. Yeah. Like in UFC, when you're getting beat to death, like you're still like.
Yeah.
For the most part, fighting back, you know what's going on, and like when like Conor was getting punched, I'm not gonna say he's used to it, but he's used to it. Like Like he's used to like limbs coming at him. Like it was a little early, and I agree. I think there was not that much time left in the round. It was like a minute or less or something like that.
Yeah, I was salty.
Yeah, and I was like,
and it's like
stop it,
as a consumer, you wanted to watch it longer. You know?
Yeah.
And there was like 3 more rounds or something, like 2 more rounds. Like just let it go. Like he's fine. Like.
Yeah, I'm a fan of knockouts too.
Mayweather's not. If Nate Diaz didn't knock him out, Mayweather's not knocking him out. Yeah. That's how I look at it. Like the first Nate Diaz fight he fought, or the second one he fought, where they were like had that war, or the second one because he got submitted the first one. The second one, like if that didn't knock him out, Mayweather's not knocking him out because Mayweather doesn't knock people out.
Yeah, he doesn't have that power.
Yeah.
I think if boxing wanted to improve, They just have to do what UFC. The reason I'm getting more into UFC than all, because I'm like you, I like boxing more. But
Yeah.
UFC, they just make everyone fight, and you can't duck anyone. And
Yeah,
there's also
yeah.
one title. Like boxing, there's like so many different
Dude,
titles,
oh
and it
my
gets
gosh.
confusing. Especially if you like try to show someone boxing, they're like, "Well, this person is the W." Like, is this too much? Like, you need one unified
like
title
50
for
belts.
each, and make people fight.
So
and then,
yeah, that's why I understand how
Yeah.
UFC it's like bigger now, and that's why I won't like dog anybody for watching that. Like I even
Yeah.
watch it sometimes. And
I just think UFC's
it also
harder.
It is harder.
because
Kinda,
like
yeah.
in boxing, they're fast as hell,
Yeah.
but like you just have hands coming at you. UFC, you
Yeah.
gotta worry about a takedown, a kick, a elbow, a knee. I mean, you
You
name
can
Yeah.
it.
finish so many different ways.
Yeah.
to
it
fight,
seems
too.
tough,
That's
and I'm not
dope.
super
Dope.
educated about that, but I can
Like,
definitely see it.
I mean,
tougher.
because Albert used to train a little bit, and he can say like grappling alone
Yeah.
takes so much energy out of you.
yeah,
It's like you get tired, and then like if you're on bottom trying to hold somebody down,
Mhm.
like your legs are getting out of there. So like
Yeah.
like your legs are just done. Like it does get tiring. I don't think people also realize that either.
yeah, no, it seems tough. Like it's brutal to watch too. Maybe that's my thing too. Like sometimes it's just too much for me. Like
I'll say no.
I can't, like,
I like that kind of
dude,
stuff.
like that's tough. Like man,
Go ahead.
humans should not be hit that way.
But yeah, I like that brutal kind of stuff. Like did you watch the fight a couple weeks ago with they got like stopped because the dude was just getting beat too bad?
No, I think I know what fight you're talking about though.
Yeah, like I like that kind of like bro. Like I was like, bro.
Dude,
But
yeah.
you also
that's-
went to one of the goriest cards.
I did. I went
UFC
to
history.
it was supposed to be the first Conor McGregor versus Aldo fight,
yeah.
but that's when Aldo like broke his rib and pulled out.
Right.
And then he fought Chad Mendez.
Oh.
The fight before that, he fought Rory McDonald.
Yeah.
He didn't fight. Oh, Rory McDonald and what's his name? Robbie Lawler fought, and that was a damn war. Like
Yeah.
one had a broken foot and a broken nose,
Right.
and then Robbie Lawler had a split lip. It was crazy. I was like,
I
this is
cannot
nice.
do that.
Bleeding all over the mat, bro.
This is
And
nice.
Conor was getting fucked up too in that fight, right?
He wasn't getting.
Well, not really, but like he was losing.
He was losing because that's when he was like early in his career. He wasn't like we
Right.
still don't know if he's like that good on the ground, but he wasn't good on the ground at all.
Right.
And he was just throwing like he was just took him down, just throwing elbows, and then he just cut his like eyebrow.
See, yeah, those elbows. Like I have to look away
Him
sometimes.
getting back up and just knock that. Shit
Yeah, then he got up and he just pieced him, knocked him out. And then it went, like going back to the energy of like the crowd.
Yeah.
It probably would have been cool because I'm a Conor McGregor fan, not as
Yeah.
big as I used to be. Just because for one, he doesn't fight anymore.
Yeah.
For two, same thing of like how you feel about Jake Paul is how
Yeah.
I feel about him.
Yeah.
But after he won, the energy and the arena was crazy, and all you just saw was just beer just fly up in the air. Like
Damn.
people just threw their beer in the air because he won and like went crazy and started cheering. And that was probably like one of the best moments that I got to witness in my life.
No, yeah, that's hype. Like I'd be super hype if I was in that kind of environment, and because boxing doesn't really get like that.
Yeah.
So that
And
is cool.
I was close to. So the way UFC is, it's the octagon. I think boxing's the same way. It's the octagon, the VIP little section.
Yeah.
And then there's like another octagon that walks around the octagon. And then
Yeah.
it's
like fence the GA people off, I guess.
Yeah.
and then it's the GA or the regular seats.
Yeah, that's
seats.
how
I
it
was
is.
13 rows up in the regular seats.
Gotcha.
So I was close.
That's cool.
I feel like
Yeah.
that's a good seat too, because I mean, a lot of people say that seat's kind of better because you have the aerial view as opposed to like ring.
Yeah, I was about to ask that. The aerial view.
Yeah,
'cause
it was nice because it's like it was like perfect where I could see like right above it and like on the sides of it as well, and it was like I could see right above there like people who were sitting down there right
Right.
above like their heads, so like nobody was like blocking anything.
See, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Like, boxing needs to have more of those kind of like venues. Like I was
Because
10
it's
rows
like
back.
flat, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had to like. Thankfully, I was in the last row in the bottom section, so I got to stand up during the fight because there was no one behind me. There was just people like up there. But yeah, all the people in front of me, like they're like, moving their heads around. You can't really see because it's all flat. But boxing's very old school, very traditional.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, it's just how baseball is.
Yeah. And maybe that's why I like it. Like, I grew up, that was one of the first sports I watched. My
boxing.
dad would always put on movies like Rocky and stuff. And so maybe that's why I like it so much. It's very, like, old school.
That's probably why I like UFC, too, because that was, like, the first. But I definitely watched boxing first, but I got into UFC, into UFC first. A long time ago, like way before UFC 100.
Yeah, when you're introduced to that kind of stuff at a young age, it just kind of sticks with you.
Yeah.
So it's understandable. Everybody is introduced to different things as a kid. So.
Have you ever trained or anything, or tried or wanted to train? Just to train?
When I was younger, I wanted to, because a lot of people in my community they like boxing. Everyone loved boxing. Like, sometimes that was all you had back in that area. Like, man, people would fight every day at school. I got into some fights. I wouldn't fight nearly as much, but everyone would fight at that time. Everyone looked up to like Manny Pacquiao and Mayweather and stuff. And people would they would be in like little leagues or whatever, or train, but I never really got into that. Like, I would work with my brother and my dad, but I never actually got into the league, and that's something I always wanted to do.
Yeah, no, same.
And now I've been working out and stuff, and I hate cardio. I hate running. I hate all that. So I usually do stuff like my dad taught me when I was younger, and it's usually boxing stuff like jump rope, or hitting the bag. We used to have a punching bag. So I do a lot of boxing drills for cardio because it's just fun to me.
It's like basketball.
Yeah, and it probably makes me better if in a street fight, even though I haven't fought since I was like a kid.
Let them things go sometimes.
Yeah, so.
Cool.
Did you ever remember that question you were going to ask?
To be honest, no.
You suck, dude. You suck.
It probably wasn't nothing crazy, but yeah, that's shit.
Do you have anything for us? You have any questions for us?
Yeah. What is y'all's favorite part about doing this podcast?
I don't think we've ever gotten that one. We get a lot of, why did y'all start?
Yeah.
But not that. You go first.
The reason you're here, really. I love having a guest on. I love giving a platform to the guest. If they think it's big, if they think it's not big, like, I still love giving them the opportunity, like, come on and share what they do. And us get to experience that with them as well.
Right.
That's probably one of my favorite parts as of now, which will probably still be one of my favorite parts, because it's what's the word I'm looking for? Organic, I guess.
Yeah.
And then the new stuff that we will start doing is going to be fun. But as of right now, probably still, even when we do that, doing guest is probably my favorite thing.
Yeah, it's tight. What about you?
Yeah, just doing the guests, like I said, or like he said, when you guys come, really when people come and see the production the first time, the cameras, the lights, seeing it's more than just us sitting here and talking, and seeing like kind of the look on people's faces, like,
right.
Oh, I didn't know they were this serious, or just kind of the presentation we do. And then honestly, every guest we've had, especially lately, like Carlos has never really met any of them, or Albert hasn't met any of them, but it hasn't felt like that. Like, right. The energy's already centered, you know what I mean? The synergy's good. Everyone can kind of relate to each other in a way, and
right.
It's just like you said, just giving people the platform to just talk about, stuff they do, stuff they enjoy. Like you said, if it's big or small, it doesn't really matter, but it's more of just kind of like that escape. I think it's very like therapeutic for people to kind of talk about certain things, especially you can kind of go in depth about something, and people are like, oh, I didn't know he did all that, or I didn't know it was more to what he does, and everyone has their own story. Like, it was really cool to hear about like your upbringing and just kind of like your grit to get to where you are, and what you're going to be one of those super successful people just because of where you're at now and just going through what you had to go through. So just like hearing stuff from new people, learning about different people, it's been a fun experience, and I mean, we're just really kind of just getting started, I guess.
That's tight, yeah. And y'all are good at it.
For a minute.
Thank you.
And I appreciate that this platform. Like, this is my first podcast. And
Yeah.
it's probably the most I've talked on camera ever. Like, I forgot the cameras were there.
Yeah.
But because it is very organic, like how you're saying, and you are very good at it. And I just met you, but I feel like I've known you for a while.
I feel like we do a very good job of easing the person down.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I could tell when you first started talking, you were nervous.
Yeah,
I could hear it in
yeah.
your voice.
Heck
But
yeah.
after you started going, you eased down. Because I think once we start asking you the questions, like you already know the answers. Like you obviously don't know what we're gonna ask you, but you already know the answers. So it's like once you just start talking about what you do yourself, it just comes easier and just
Facts.
flows out.
Right.
But anything else?
No, I think I'm good.
Yeah. All of his information will be down below. If you want to give him a follow, give him a shout. Everything will be down below. Obviously, as y'all see, we also got new polos. You know, we got one white, one black.
I don't have one. I don't have one yet.
Not yet.
Yeah, we'll let you up.
You'll probably see those in the future. But again, thank you for coming on.
Thank y'all. I appreciate it.
Of course. Albert, thank you for being here.
Toga, woo!
But that'll do it for your boys over here at Opinionated, and we'll catch y'all guys next time. Peace.